This is a video relating to the Toyota Alphard that's got the noise behind the dashboard, sort of a ticking, flapping noise behind the dashboard. Nothing too sinister, but you know it's there. And also you may have the symptom that your heater only blows out cold air unless you set it to sort of above 26 degrees. So there's sort of nothing optimal in the middle. It's either cold or just warm above 26. So what we have is there's what's called, I think they call it a heat flap solenoid motor, whatever. That's this kiddie here. This is a sort of a black housing cover unit. This houses the motor, and what that does is it optimally adjusts a flap. There's a rod that comes off of it, and there's another pin on the back, and that turns the motor in here, turns it according to your temperature that you've got set, and then that adjusts the heat optimally. And forgive these scratches, this is me learning how to do it, and with what I've learnt since, you can avoid these bad scratches. So the way I've gone around this is I need to get access to that region first. So I've just pulled this forward, and then that makes sure that this side releases. There's nothing going to catch there. I'm looking to remove this whole lower section. Now we've got a screw up under there, we've got a screw here, and then pulling this flap down I can pull this right forwards and take it out, and then there's another screw up behind there. Now the other things on this part are, once this is pulled down and out, you should be able to get access behind these two. There's a couple of little sort of clips, you just push them down and these slide to the back and these will release. You got the I think it's called the ODM, where you plug in the computer for diagnostics. There's two screws that hold that in above, and then that releases that cable and the terminal block there. And then for me, I've got this fog switch which has 3 wires. So what I do typically for this is I just took a photograph of this just to confirm which wire goes where, because there was 2 red wires and 1 orange wire, and I don't want that headache upon reassembling. I got my wires wrong. So I'm looking to remove this panel. So with these 3 screws out, and obviously this out, and things disconnected, this then releases and comes forward and should be able to come straight out. Now in addition, because what I'm trying to get access to is up here, I'm looking to take this complete carpet panel out. As you probably know, these just pull out. You've got this pin here, these just pull forwards. I mean, for me, I think I just took the mat up and just pull it from the bottom, and it sort of hooks up inside. So we're looking to remove that complete piece. And then with this removed as well, we're looking to pull this complete panel so it releases from up this region only. So what I'm looking to do is ultimately have this complete part bent forward so it gives me access to get into this region around here. And once that's pulled forward and released from up here, I've simply got a screwdriver, and I've just wedged my screwdriver in behind there, and then the handle of the screwdriver is what's holding this flap forwards, just to keep it in a prized open position to give me access to get into this region here where my motor is. I also just pop the pedal off the rubber just to give me a little bit more access. A torch will come in handy for sure. I located the torch up behind here just to shine light in this sort of region to help me, because it's pretty dark up there. This motor here is a donor motor I got off an Avensis. You can make a note of the part number here. This was one I've used. So we're not looking to replace this whole motor. We're simply looking, there's a disc inside here. We're looking to take the disc out of this one and relocate it into our Alphard one. Now, to release this motor, let's see if my phone can pick up. We've got the terminal block there. I think the clips around the back just to pull that out and pull that down. Bear in mind this carpet's gone and this is pulled forward, this plastic, so you've got a lot more access. There's a screw on this side of the motor, silver screws, which is good, you won't get them mixed up with the black ones from the dash. There's a screw to the right, I think it's just behind there, and then there's one just up above. So we've got 3 screws holding this motor in, silver screws. Note the 2 right hand ones, because of the pedal arrangement for the foot brake there, need a right angle screwdriver. I've got a mini ratchet set I got off Amazon, and that has the posi drive part that goes in the end of the ratchet. So I found that quite handy because you can just ratchet it back and forth rather than faffing with a right angled screwdriver. But ultimately, so what that does, take the terminal block off, release the 3 screws. There is a white piece of plastic attached to the shaft on the back. Now on that piece of plastic at the back, it's like a bracket, there is a sort of a locator pin that sticks out the back of the plastic on this model, and then down the bottom there's another part of the plastic's got a hole in it, and ultimately there's a rod which connects to the heater which goes into that piece of plastic. So what we're looking to do is, once you pull that motor forward after releasing the 3 screws, you should find that you just need to release that rod from the back of the motor, and then you've got the motor out. Now when you've got the motor out, you'll notice there's these lugs all the way around the motor, so be careful not to break them. You probably will. I broke, after playing with mine many times to try and suss it out, I broke most of mine, but hey ho, it's still okay. So you're looking to simply undo all of these lugs, and you're looking to prise your motor open. If I can get this one open. I'm a one-handed cameraman, and I might have to put the camera down just to pop this open. There we go. There we go. Right. So, bear in mind this is the donor one, but you're doing this on the Alphard. As you take a cover off, it's slightly different on the Alphard, but the same sort of arrangement. This is what you got inside. So this is the motor which takes the signal. This motor, if it does happen to pop out, don't worry too much. There's 2 connectors built onto the side of the motor that simply just connect in here. You can simply just take it out, push it back in. So don't worry if that pops out. But our snag issue is this device here. So this disc just pops out, and then you'll see the item here. So the disc on this one here is the one off the Alphard. So the problem was these wears here causing snag. That is the problem. So also you'll notice there's these claw type connectors. Because I noticed where the wear was on my track here, I thought it'd be a bit smart and try maybe if I widen, so let's zoom out a bit, if I widen these claws, that maybe I could pick up either side of these wear points, and that would actually get round having to take this all apart and find another disc. But that didn't work, so eventually I gave in and sought to get this replacement disc. So what we're looking to do is just simply get a needle, and I can't do it one-handed sadly everyone, but this just pops open really easily, this disc, and you just lift that up, and then you're looking just to swap the 2 discs over, and note there's a little locator pin just here at the back, so that locates it in the right position, so you don't have to worry about where that's going to be, because the locator pin does that. Pop this back in as it goes on the Alphard one. I didn't find it was much of an issue to pop that back in which way it goes. It was a case that when, I think the Alphard one is slightly different. I think the Alphard one is this way round with the connector on the other side. But ultimately, the white bracket, when you close this lid back up, or the other way around, the white bracket at the back, and that just obviously all clips back together. There's a white bracket at the back I was alluding to with the pin connector and the rod connector at the back. It can go either way. It can go round to the right or round to the left. I found with lots of playing around that keep the bracket tilted round to the left. It won't go all the way around because it stops, but keep it tilted to the left when you go to refit. And then you look into, with the Alphard one, put it back into position. On mine there's a metal bracket that just pops onto the side of this. It just pushes onto the side of it, and that houses then the locator for the third screw. You'll know what I mean when you take it apart. Pop that back up, and then with the bracket at the back, make sure you push the rod back into the pin, into the hole of the bracket, the pin of the rod, push it back through the hole, and then the other part of the bracket has got a piece coming out. It's got like a pin sticking forward, and if you look up, it can be really high up there somewhere. We're looking up, if I can show my screwdriver, we're looking up that region somewhere. There's like a slot, a curved slot, which is part of the heater as well. So the white bracket on the back of this unit, the pin that sticks out, we're looking to locate that in the slot, whilst also the rod that comes across here and then just goes into the white bracket. So we're looking to locate two parts of that white bracket. If you don't locate them properly, then clearly it's not going to work. And note the rod, you can pull the rod across and move it to position. It sounds a bit strange at the moment, but it's going to be obvious more when you put it back together. Obviously do the 3 screws back up, and then put your terminal block back in there, connector block. What you can do, rather than just to reassemble everything first, you could actually then fire it up. And then I found to do it with the engine on, because I wanted to test with any heat coming through or not. But what I do is I have mine set cold. I had my heater setting set cold all the way down. And then as I had that fired up, I was adjusting the temperature 1/2 degree at the time, and just verifying that the motor does actually move and turn, and you get to see the rod and the sort of plastic piece at the back just slightly move a little bit. So it's doing its optimum adjustment every time. So once you confirm that that seems to be okay, then obviously just reassemble a bit, and hopefully it should be there. But yeah, anyone got any snags or any help they need with that, walking through any more detail, give us a shout, PM me, whatever. Hope that helps.